Welcome to another 2014 Comp1 Programming Exam Solution tutorial. In this particular pest we're going to look at something that I actually put in the second set of tasks, and these are changes to the recent score structure. We're going to add date played, and we're also going to change the constant at the top of the code to change the number of recent scores. We'll probably have a little look at that one first actually, because it'll only take a second. But what we're going to do is store the date in the TRecentScore structure. Now, it's actually dead easy to add it there, but there's three places we would have to alter: where we update the scores, where we display the scores, and we reset the scores. So let's go to the code and see how we would do that. Before we start on the structure though, let's just make sure that you're all happy. Number of recent scores, if I change that to a 5 and then test the code, you can see really straight away that if I now have 5 recent scores shown. I mean, I'm hoping that you're all pretty happy with that. That could be a little start of a 10. We'll leave the 5 there for now. So we're going to add in a new element to this structure, and we're going to call it date played. We're going to give it the data type date. Why not? I guess it could be a string, but date seems to be pretty reasonable. And that's it. We've now added it. Unfortunately, the rest of the program will not be acknowledging it because, of course, in all of the concatenations, let's say this is the display recent scores, you can see that you've basically got to concatenate each field of the structure. So I'm just going to quickly add in the date to this. Okay, so I've done this mid-type, so you can see what's happened. So I've concatenated a little string there of on, and then I've started typing in recent scores, and I've made sure that I haven't forgotten to include the array element, because of course if I put a dot there I get a load of stuff to do with the structure and not to do with the particular instance of it. So you can see that those are the 3 elements. Click on date played and that's it. I've got to be honest, it's a bit of an annoying sort of format, because it will give me full date and time if I did that. There are a few date formatting functions. One little method is just simply go, if I start typing in short, it will give me the 2 short date times, which is basically a function that will convert whatever this date is here just to day, day, month, month, year, year. Let's leave it open for the moment. I think if you're going to look at this, you probably also ought to look at the date format function as well. But let's quickly test that. So here we are, 3, and we can see that we've now got the date. In fact, it's just showing me the time actually by the look of it. So I'm not quite sure what format it's defaulted to, but it's a bit annoying. If I don't specify it, it's not ideal. So now what we need to do is change it to this reset and update to also reflect those changes. So let's add that in. One second. Okay, got that back up. So let's add that in, and for the reset all I'm doing is I'm just assigning a null string, which seems to be fine for the date data type, and yep, hopefully you can see how that works. And then the final thing I need to do is in the update I just need to add in that the recent scores and let's do this live. Date played equals. Now, I don't know. You could use today, which is a good function, or now, or pretty sure that's supposed to be like that. There's a few date functions that will return the current date / time, but I want to use today. I'm interested to see how that will display actually. Okay, I've quickly played a game, as you can see, and I have then just chose option 3 to display the recent scores, and you can see that actually with the today it's changed the formatting from being just a time to today's date, which is quite nice. Seems to work okay, but I think you should really play around with the date time formatting functions. Let's reset those recent scores to make sure that still works, because we've made a change there. Bagger. It doesn't like that string. I know I should have tested it before doing it live on the video. Give me a second. Okay, so what we'll do is just assign a literal date that is sort of basically an equivalent to a null value. It's a real faff to actually define a nullable type, but we'll just do it as that. So that way we absolutely know that if we've got that date, that's effectively our default date. So hopefully now, I'll just quickly rerun that test. So I've just quickly rerun the test, and now let's reset the scores. So for reset recent scores, that's fine. If I now display the recent scores, okay, they've all got this default of 0, 1, 0, 1, 19, 100, but as long as we know what that is, that's not the end of the world. So just to recap, we added in an extra line to the reset, we added in a little extra bit of concatenation to the display, and then right at the bottom of the code we added in an assignment to the update recent scores, and that was all just to allow one extra element of a structure to be added. Also with this tutorial we just changed that integer. Hopefully you've found that useful. As I say, date and time can be problematic, especially if you want to display it properly, so it may be worth you ensuring that you're familiar with the date time functions.